Alright, what's going on YouTube? We're back with a second episode in our rebooted FPS series. Now, what we are going to do today is allow for our character's camera to be proper. We're going to fix some stuff I missed in the last episode, which won't take very long. And we are also going to make the character aim up and down and the camera follow, or the arms follow with the camera and whatnot. So that'll be super fun. So let's first of all fix what I missed in the last episode by going to your anim graph. Sorry, that's the wrong place. Your anim graph, and you'll see some of what we're doing here in the episode. I've already done it for purposes of me remembering how to do it because I couldn't quite remember, so I did it first to test that it works. But I'll walk us through how to do it. So anyways, what you'll want to do is you'll want vector length instead of vector length squared. And I forgot to set direction. So you want to drag off of this and type set direction. Anyways, after that, after you finish those two things, also get base aim rotation, not get actor rotation. You'll want to get base aim rotation. Anyways, now that you've gotten that stuff done, what we'll want to do is now we'll want to make the character's arms move with the camera. Because if you didn't notice in the last episode, we look up and down, his arms don't follow, and it's kind of disappointing because we do want those arms to follow our character as we move around. So how do we do that? That's actually fairly simple, even though it looks pretty complex and it is actually pretty difficult to remember. It is a simple mathematic equation. So let's get into that mathematical equation by going to our player anims, and off of a sequence then 1, you'll want to drag off, and over here, actually first you'll want to create a variable that's a rotator and call it aim rotation. Then you'll want to drag off and set aim rotation. And we will not work backwards, but we'll actually work forwards from here. And how we get this is we drag from as character and get control rotation. Then here, I'll kind of do this up here and just duplicate just to show you how. We will break rotator. Then off of our Y, we want to get minus float. Actually drag the bottom one down and break the second one. Do 360 for the top one. Or break the first one and do 360 for the top one. And then we will want to get float times -1. And then last but not least, we want to get more than 180. And then on this we will select float. From there it's pretty self-explanatory. Anyways, so now what we'll want to do is we will want to divide by 3. And I will explain all of this, by the way, afterwards. I've explained it before in my previous episodes, but I'll explain it again. And then we want to make rotator. And X should already be connected. And then set aim rotation. Just connect it like that. Alright, so that's all done. Right? Now let's explain this very briefly. Now, what we do is we're getting the control rotation, which is the rotation and movement of our camera, and we're breaking it up, and we only need the pitch, which is the up and down. Now, that's the up and down for a normal camera. But the reason that we're exporting to the X, I will get to later. You may be wondering that, but I will get to that. So first we're subtracting -y, and we're multiplying -1, and then we're seeing if we are more than or less than 180. So if we are more than 180, then we're going to pick A, and A is going to subtract 360, because otherwise he'll bend his spine way too far back. If we're less than 180, we'll multiply by -1, because otherwise he'll bend his spine way too far forward and he'll go underneath himself, and it'll do weird animation stuff, and it'll break, or the spine will sink and he'll be like crouched down. It'll be really weird. Excuse me, I just yawned. But that's what that's doing. So that's selecting the float, and then we're dividing by 3 because we'll have 3 different spines, and then we're exporting to X because in this character's relative rotations, X for the spines are the up and down. That's the up and down that we'll be using. So now let's actually apply that. So let's go to our anim graph, and we're going to stretch this guy out a little bit. And what I want to do is I want to transform modify bone. And I want to do that 3 times. I'll connect those guys up to each other, and we'll connect him up there. And then we will connect him up there. So now it's giving us a warning that you must pick a bone to modify and that no components to modify selected. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to select on this, and we want to pick spine 1, or sorry, spine 1 and spine 2. Perfect. So we have all 3 spines selected. Now what we want to do is we don't want translation as a pin. We don't want scale as a pin. And you can put alpha in there, but we really don't need that as a pin either. Now what we want to do is we will want to add to existing and leave it as component space. Now what we want to do is control and drag and connect all of these guys up. Perfect. Now we're all connected, and we should be good to go. So now make sure in your player that your camera, which if you don't already have this seated, I did it kind of quick. I just I added a camera, dragged it over the mesh, which attached it, selected head, and then kind of mess around with the location values. You can kind of copy them if you want to, or you can just move them around properly like I did. And make sure you use pawn control rotation. Use pawn control rotation is checked. So I'm going to play, and now as you can see, our for one, our feet move different directions depending on where we are. I don't know why it's glitching out like that. That's probably something with the animations that I'll have to fix, and I will fix that. But other than that, the hands are following and it's working fine, and it all looks pretty good. So that's about all for this episode. I just wanted to get that done and get that to an episode all on its own, and then we could get more progress made in future episodes. But other than that, thank you so much for watching this episode. If you liked, please leave that like, because this will help other people who need this information for their games find it, and subscribe if you want more content like this and you want to see this on your subscribe list, because it's pretty cool. I think that's why I do it for YouTube. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.